On the right. On the right.
So Piyush, you're not going to come back again to ये वाला खत्म हो गया अभी. I may not say the same things again.
Correct. Agreed. In this world of screens, when parents and children both are hooked to the smartphones, how can we actually bring today's kids from the phones into the world of stories? Any suggestions or tips?
Lovely, great. I'm so happy that I made sense to you. Very happy.
What do we say? What is a story?
Anything and everything that comes to your mind. If you're standing in the bus stop and you're talking to somebody, that's a story. We are always narrating our life in stories. It may be little tidbits of things that happen. It may be an anecdote, but it's always a story. Now, some of us, uh, practice the skill of storytelling because it's there in every one of us. All of us can tell stories. It's built into the Indian DNA and the gene, I think. So, all of us can tell stories. But sometimes when we are very busy and, our lives are going in, different directions and we are, pressed for time, then I think that, मुझे एक कहानी नहीं, I cannot tell a story. Okay. Now, I think that, when I look at a story and I look at the nuggets of knowledge that it comes, the kind of ways in which a story can develop curiosity in a child. When we say, ये क्यों हो रहा है? कैसा हो रहा है? इन्होंने क्यों ऐसा बोला? क्यों ऐसा नहीं किया? वो ऐसा करना था नहीं? Why didn't? So when a child starts asking these questions, that is what we call a 21st century skill. This sense of asking a question, because that informs the life of this child. So when I say story, many people tell me, बच्चों के लिए हम, बोलते हैं, I will tell a story to them. But that's not the point. The point is that a story is something that is there, whether I'm 70 years old or I'm 7 years old. So that is what I mean by a story. It is not storytelling. Storytelling is one of the tools that you use in the story that comes into my mind. But the story itself is what transforms me. It is what makes me curious. It's what makes me fit into the 21st century with a special USP, I would say, a special way of looking at life, which is different from other people. So my story becomes my story. And when I go into the open world, when I go into a global, space, working space, I find that, children who have a story of their own, who know how to tell a story of their own, they do much better because they know how to link a beginning, middle, and end. They know how to tell a story logically, very, very naturally. And the listener is able to connect up immediately with how the story is told. So, and what is the intention behind the story? Because all of us in our lives, we all have fragmented lives. And this is the time that a child learns how to live in this fragmented world and how to put everything to connect the dots.
Thank you for sharing your response, ma'am. So what I get from you is like stories everywhere. Story starts in our life from the day we are born. Whatever we are narrating, whatever we are doing is a story for us. But how we are telling that or communicating that to others makes a difference when it comes to stories. But what will happen is, very like, I don't know if the stereotypical is the right word or not, but when we hear about story, it generally comes to the mind. It is a text which is written in a book, usually read by younger child, or let's say a middle schooler or a primary kid, and in the form of fiction, non-fictions by the teenagers, adults, and so on. But everything is a story. Why it gets from you? Am I correct?
Well, not necessarily, because when I look at it from a point of view of the child, constantly looking at it, from a child's point of view, I'd like to say that, every child has a very innate curiosity. They have a natural desire to learn, to know about things. So in 1977, when I started with children in the Nilgiris in rural Tamil Nadu, and I was working with children from tribal communities, different tribal communities over there, I discovered something very, very fascinating, Piyush. I found that children don't, people would tell me in 1977, बच्चों के लिए इच्छा नहीं है, बच्चों के लिए, रुचि नहीं है. No, it was not even not, or not being interested or resisting, learning. What was happening was the way in which we speak to them. Do we speak to their hearts? So when I'm looking at parents today, this is something that I have been noticing from 1988 when I started Katha. So I find that, when we are working with a group of children and I'm saying, okay, what made them fall in love with reading? Was it the books? Was it the joy of discovery? Was it the magic of the stories coming alive? Then I would say it is a magic of the stories coming alive. How does it link up with my life? Why do I think a story is important? Okay. And children have their own ways of linking up, a story that they are reading or they are hearing with something else. So when I talk to children or when I talk to the parents, I say, when was the last time you enjoyed a story with your child? Now you must notice that I'm saying the word enjoyed. I'm not saying when did you read to the child. Because they think that, if you have a book and you read to the child, because everyone now is at least thinking of, bedtime reading. So they are reading to their child. But did you enjoy the story with the child? What is it that makes the difference? Okay. So when I say enjoy, what comes to your mind when I say enjoy? Piyush.
Is it the voice modulation and visualization which we bring to the story when we read that to our kids?
Yes, but it is creating a shared experience with the child. Supposing I am telling a story and the child has an experience. See, we are always taking the child from me, I plus one step. This is how the child's knowledge grows. So the I is the child, and from the I, the child grows and moves into a new experience, a new knowledge, a new learning. Okay, that's what a story does. So when I'm reading with a child, I am trying to create a shared experience. Now that comes from, Vakabhinaya, it comes from Mukhabhinaya, it comes from Angabhinaya. Now I'm using my hands so much when I'm talking to you. That's because, I'm wanting to express myself and I find that, when I use my hands, when I use my face, when I use my voice, when I drop it, when I have, a climax and say, oh my God, what is happening? Then the child, even if they are falling asleep, they wake up and they are listening to you. And their minds are constantly working. Okay, they are constantly. So stories become powerful when they are not just read, but they are lived. The parent has to live that story. So I would say, take a book, but read the book once before you read it with your child. Ask your child, what do you think would happen next? फिर इसके बाद क्या हो सकता है? You make the child think. Now, that is what gets the child into reading. It's not just saying that I have read a book with my child, which many of us do, and that's very, very important. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does make sense too.
So the children might say, I don't like what this person is doing. I don't agree with this person. This person should not have done this. This person should have done this. This person should not have opened the door. Knows that there is somebody at the back of it. There's a monster at the back of it. Whatever it may be. But the thing is, making the child think, helping the child to ask questions, helping the child to develop a narrative imagination. Can I be in the shoes of the other? Because stories develop empathy in children. And that is very important. So when they reimagine the ending and they say, aisa nahi hona chahiye, aisa hona chahiye, when they change the thing and they are coming up, that shows not just that they are creative. Yes, they are. They are curious, they are creative, but there's also a critical thinking. बदलाव कैसा आ सकता है? And that one becomes, हमारा जीवन में कैसा बदलाव आ सकता है? So, when I'm looking at the process that happens when I'm reading a story with children, and this is what we do in Katha. We help the child to go beyond the story, to go behind the story, and to understand what the story is trying to say. So it has to have, a way of, understanding the concept, understanding why, and then understanding what happens because this thing happened.
So does it mean that making predictions and interacting with the predictions become a very important element of
Yes,
storytelling?
absolutely. I think you said it in a very, very nice way. I think it is helping the child to make predictions, connecting that with the life that they see around them, connecting it with the life that they are living in the home, in the school, on the way to school. So it is, linking all these little bits of information which is there in the child's mind into a more holistic picture so the child can stand very firmly on that knowledge and make a quantum leap into another knowledge.
So just briefing it out, what I get from you and from my audience also, and briefing it out, that what important is, as a parent, I'm able to create a shared reading experience for my kid. And then that shared reading experience is going on, I'm allowing my kid to make predictions, and I myself is also making predictions. And let the kids interact with the prediction and see like what's going to happen next, why this happened, why it's not how it happened, how it can be done differently. So it will help them to build imagination, problem solving, critical thinking, and ability. Also, I'm also as a parent giving my opinions, so they're interacting with me. They're also helping them to benefit social development. At the same time, this whole process is so communicated with parent and the kid. It helps them in developing the command skills. And overall, this shared learning experience become very fruitful and ripe for parent and the kid also.
Piyush, the operative word here is enjoy. Okay. You must always remember that I have to enjoy the child language and reading with the child. It's not reading to, it's about reading with. It is creating this joy in the mind of the child because I have found, I started Katha in 1988 to enhance the joy of reading. Okay. Because I find that, when you're reading without that joy, when you're reading, तो पढ़ना है, एग्ज़ाम के लिए पढ़ना है, इसके लिए पढ़ना है, क्लास के अंदर मुझे जाना है, कल जाना है, एंड सो आई हैव टू रीड फॉर दैट. दैट बिकम्स अ प्रेशर ऑन द चाइल्ड एंड द चाइल्ड इज सेइंग, इसके लिए मुझे ये वाला चीज़ मुझे करना है. So there is a process that is always, I can't use the word matlabi, but it almost comes close to that, It is not done for pure joy. And children like that joy. When they are playing, they are just happy. They are doing what they want. But when they are reading, they are doing it because, school ke andar jana hai, school mein marks lena hai. So I'm going to do it. So if you can shift the needle from there, that's why the joy word becomes very important. And I found over the last 36 years in Katha, and if I look at it from 1977, nearly 40 years, I have found that, no child is different, Piyush. Whether a child is coming from difficult, marginalized communities, or the child is coming from a more privileged background, I find that, the way in which you can capture the attention of the child, the way in which a child can become a true leader, because finally that's what you want. Whichever reading the child is doing now, the child needs to be empathetic. The child needs to be able to have this, what I call, what all of us call a narrative imagination. So the child should be able to put herself in the shoes of another and be able to see. That's what the story helps us to do. Okay. So these things. So then what happens is every moment becomes a learning experience because the story is a learning experience. Okay. So when, a parent is going to the shop, for instance, and I'm going to go and buy curry patta over there. I'm telling the child, okay, so there's a story involved in my journey when I'm working. हम जा रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या चीज हम देख रहे हैं. So all these are built into the story. That is building in the child's mind. But I'm connecting the dots with the story that I'm saying. So to go back to the first point that you mentioned, a story doesn't come in a storybook. The story comes to me when I am talking to my child. And the child has a story. We have to listen to the story of the child. Most of us don't have the time for that. The child's mind is constantly fabricating and making stories. Okay. And we need to say that, yes, I know I'm very busy. I have, this very important thing to finish before I go into office tomorrow. Yes, that's there. But वो 5-10 minute के लिए, if I can say, okay, Now this is a learning moment. My child is going to sleep. What are the kind of dreams the child is going to have? Not raat mein, but for their life. What is the dream? How can I create that life? It's not a career pathway. It's a dream. It's a thing of possibilities. What is possible in this world, and that is what story makes possible.
Got it. So what I understood from you right now, and I want to share with my audience too, that reading stories is not just about making predictions, as I've said earlier. It also involves that connecting the text of the story to our lives, to the lives of the kids and to the outer world. So it helps kids not just to understand the story better, but also to understand their universe and the world in them.
So when we are talking to parents, there are these two things that, we are constantly keeping in mind. As parents, as people who've been in education, who've seen how children learn across the spectrum, many, many spectrums, we have to remember that, we are nurturing thinkers and, global leaders. We are not nurturing them to get into a job. We are preparing them for work. And I make a difference between a job and work. Now, Piyush, what you're doing is work. It has meaning in it. It has a purpose in it. It has a vision in it. Okay. Job is something that I do for money. I go there, I spend 9 to 5. My whole life is outside of what I'm doing, 9 to 5. Okay. So we need to, in the 21st century, we need to prepare our children for this kind of, a discovery. Every day is a discovery. Every day is a learning. Every day is an opportunity for me to show respect, whether it is to my classmate, whether it is to nature, whether it's to a tree that I'm walking by every day, I'm showing respect. Okay. So when there is a joy and it's mixed with respect and with, a way in which I can be अच्छा इंसान बनने के लिए क्या तरीका है? When I look at that, I think the story becomes a very, very natural way of, helping the child to be a contributing member of society, a responsive and responsible citizen. And that, I think, is the hope, which is a larger hope that we should have for India. India cannot be a land where, all of us are doing jobs. India should be a land where young people are being prepared to work, to use their minds, to beat AI at its game. Okay. And we always, otherwise, the human race will just, I don't know, maybe it's not important for this discussion, so I won't go into it at all.
Yes, I understand. Yes, that we can do later, for sure. But yes, a very powerful, a visionary thought I see when I got to talk about India, Bill, and what could be important for India. I was just completely having the goosebumps with the simplicity of the thought and the power of that thought. But now, a very important question comes to a mind, and that is like how parents can build mindset in themselves that they have to read stories with their kids, and most importantly, parents who were not exposed to storybooks in their childhood or even later in the adult life. So, how these parents can actually build that mindset?
See, what I think is, Piyush, most children have a favorite story. They like to go back to that story. Okay. So a parent doesn't have to know a lot of stories, doesn't have to have a lot of books. If they have a few books which the child chooses for herself or himself when they go out shopping and they choose a book and it's something that the child wants to read. Many times I've seen that, parents say, ये वाला book नहीं चाहिए आपको, ये वाला book choose कर दीजिए. And they walk with it to the counter. But supposing we can flip it around, that's the first step, I think, to get a child excited about reading and about learning, because these are two things that are linked up. So the first step is allow the child. You're going into a library. I know India doesn't have too many libraries, but if you're going into a library, if you're going into a bookstore, if you're going to a friend's house where they have many books and you're allowed to borrow a book, whatever it may be, allow the child to choose the book. That is step number one. Step number two, if you have books at home, if you have 2 or 3 books, allow the child to choose the book. Allow the child to choose the story. Allow the child to develop the story. So, you can say, beta, today I'm very, very tired. Remember that story we said yesterday? do you think you can come up with a different ending for it? Supposing, that was a boy over there. Can we make it into a girl? Can you make it into a girl and tell me the same story? You break stereotypes that way. So I think that, even if I have 10 minutes, I can build and move it towards creativity, building creativity and curiosity in the child. We can build it towards breaking the stereotype, because that is what gives meaning, which is the third thing that I want to say. We read for meaning. Children read for meaning. Many times I find a problem with, phonics for this very simple reason. Nerve or null. Now, the child is not interested in nerve or null. But supposing there's a story, a magical story about, this person who lives under the water, and then the water is dirty, and immediately the child is getting very excited about it. So when you have a meaning, you have characters, and you're building on those characters. So the parents should have read the story before, should have their own understanding of the story, should be able to guide the child with just questions. They should challenge the child. इसका मतलब क्या है? Oh, I can't read this word. Can you read this word? So when you are challenging the child, then what happens is that, the child comes into her own, and she is saying, it is like this, aisa pado. So, I let go of my ego, and I say that, it's not like all adults know everything. The child also knows. So can I let go of my ego? Can I let go of my impatience? Can I let go of the fact that my mind is harried and I am the breadwinner for the family? And I have to think about the future of the child. For those 10 minutes, let's not think about that future of the child. Let's think about the child. Let's think about being present for her. And let's say that, her eyes sparkling, her eyes suddenly lighting up. That is what I want. So, you have your short-term thing, and parents are looking for that. Then that will be a major thing that parents can do to bring the child into reading. So, as I said, connecting the dots, saying that, this, you remember Dadika, when we went there to the village, remember what you saw over there? And the child will have a story, which we have never heard before. Okay. So I'm thinking that, if parents can do something like that, if they can come around and they can sort of put the child in front, valorize the child and her knowledge, rather than saying, ek kahani, batana hai, so I will just do that and then I'll get off from here. No. That 10 minutes belongs to a period of enjoyment of a story with the child. If we can do that, even a 5-minute, 10-minute thing, children begin to understand. आज मेरे पास time नहीं है. So, okay, tomorrow will you tell the story? Yes, tomorrow I will tell you the story, but today I'm not able to. Tomorrow, please remember, you have to tell that story to your child. You can't just keep on saying, kal. It will not happen. Okay?
Correct. But one important question that comes to my mind here is which language parents should choose or use while reading stories with a kid or narrating yes to a kid. Because as you suggested, and this talking makes sense to me, that kids should lead a way to select their storybooks. But they might be selecting a storybook because of the graphics, because of the touch, and the text of the storybook could be in a very different language, which is not even their language.
There is, as far as I'm concerned, there are no two answers to it. Always in your mother tongue. I think you need to valorize knowledge over language. Stories are knowledge. They are, they are khazanas of knowledge. And when you're doing that, it doesn't matter. English doesn't matter. English can come in the classroom. English can come when I'm talking in another thing. But when I'm telling a story, it's an experience that must go deep into the child. The child must understand, and the child must appreciate, and the child must enter into under the skin of the story. The child must become that story, become that character, solve the problems that that character is solving. If I can do that, then the child is moving on from this level of understanding as a 3-year-old or 2-year-old or 1-year-old to the next level of understanding. Because the mind is growing furiously for a child till the age of 8. This is what brain studies show us. If the brain is really flowing so much and growing so much, and all the neuro connecting, and the brain is a buzz of activities, at that point of time, I need to be thinking about the child and saying, कितनी चीज में दे सकती हूँ, कितना कनेक्शंस में कर सकती हूँ बच्चों के लिए, ये वाला चीज मुझे करना है। वो 10 मिनट में नहीं कर सकती। आई डोंट नीड 10 से ज्यादा मिनट मुझे नहीं चाहिए। 10-10 मिनट मैं एक दुकान के लिए मैं जा रही हूँ, मैं बाहर जा रही हूँ लंच डिनर खाने के लिए, और आई एम गोइंग, मेरा पिताजी का घर में जा रही हूँ, माता जी से बात कर रही हूँ। चांस फॉर अ स्टोरी, चांस टू नरेट अ स्टोरी. So I'm thinking that the story is a living thing which can only happen in the language which you speak to your child every day. It cannot happen. It cannot happen in English. No way. We should not burden them. So I would say English becomes a burden. If they are not habituated to reading in English, English becomes a stress. No stress for the child. The child needs to be bindas. Child needs to be just happy, 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 and doing things and learning things without even knowing that she's learning.
So one thing is the whole language, which plays a very important role by narrating a story to a kid or reading a story with a kid and the content of the storybook. What do you recommend that what would be the other factors while selecting a story for reading or selecting a storybook?
See, many people say there should be a lot of words in a book. I don't think that's important. Because if everything is described by the writer, then the child's imagination cannot grow. So I feel that, visual storytelling, which is very, very important, because, in India, there are two things, Piyush, that we have all noticed. There is, a storytelling which is coming from visual storytellers. Whether you're looking at Madhubani art, you're looking at Warli art, you're looking at, the columns that we are drawing in front of our homes, whatever it may be, the saris that we are weaving, everything has a story. Okay. So I feel that, just saying that, where did I even start? I don't even know where I started. Aapka question kya tha?
Oh, what factors are important while selecting a
So, one, it's not the number of words. It is the big idea that is there in the story. Okay. Will it help my child to think deeper, to think wider with this book? Okay. With a 50-word story, with a 100-word story, 200-word story, you can make it into something the child will. The child will. Okay. But what happens when it is at a level that the child can read and the child has picked? It means that the child has already started enjoying the book, which is what visual storytelling does. Okay. So when you have pictures in it, the child is able to tell the story through the pictures. Child is able to tell the story through the words, and the child is able to tell the story because you, as a storyteller, you are using Abhinaya. You are using it in your voice, in your face, in your eyes, in your hands. So, and the child is getting into it, because finally what you want is not whether the child can pass an exam in a storybook. The idea is that the child has to mature in proper ways. The child must be ethical in the way she is growing up. The child needs to be empathetic to other people that she's seeing in her life. The child has to have a team spirit in her, to work with other people, to do things together, because these are all the 21st century skills. The child should be able to communicate with other people. The child should know how to negotiate. These are all the softer skills of management, which a management school and MBA school will not teach you. But if the child can negotiate a story, the child can be able to negotiate in a work situation. So, how can you negotiate? So, these are the things that you're looking at when you're choosing a storybook for your child. You're saying, okay, is the story just saying, okay, the child was carrying a red hanky. Why was the child carrying a red hanky? I don't know. I don't know. That they was talking to some, some parents about children who are doing career counseling and things like that, and their parents were there. And when you ask the child, आप commerce क्यों choose किया? ऐसा ही. Okay, but do you know what? No, I don't like science, so I'm choosing commerce. No, that's not an answer. Now, parents don't have an answer. I wanted to do commerce. I couldn't do. I wanted to become a chartered accountant, and I couldn't. So there's a lot of money that you can earn as a chartered accountant. So I'm not saying that, what is it that interests a child? Why have I spoken with the child? A storybook allows you to do that. Okay. So a career pathway doesn't become just a career pathway where I can earn money. The career pathway becomes something that I live my life with. Okay. And if then we will have fewer children, I think, who grow up into dissatisfied adults who are saying, pata nahi main kyun ye wala kaam mein kar raha hu. And I just, there's so much stress and I'm getting a heart attack at the age of 35 and 40 because they're doing something that they're not enjoying. If the story comes in right in the beginning and they start enjoying life, I think, we'll have a country itself of, listen, I am only in the party of children. I have no other political view in whatever I'm saying. ठीक है? मुझे क्या चाहिए? मुझे चाहिए वो सभी बच्चे वो even ground में है. There's equity. So we all care for one another. That's how I have grown up. Okay. In the and I'm 76 years old now. So I've grown up in a very different world, Piyush. I grew up in a more gentle world. I grew up in a world where there was less noise around me. There was less violence around me. It was a gentle society where बच्चों के लिए जगह था. And it was not just, talking about, child Rama or child Krishna or child Krishna. No, it was the child in front of me. Today, everything, even the child has been politicized. So you find that, a story when I'm reading is colored by political colors rather than by life colors. And that is what you want. You want to color the life of the child with her imagination, with her understanding, with her wanting to know things, with her explorations, with her sense of wonder. If you can grow that, I think children will grow up and be adults who are responsive, who are responsible, but who are happy. And finally, I think as a parent, what do I want? I think I have, every year I'm working with about 2 lakh children. And every time I don't see all the children that I work with. I'm only seeing videos that people send me. And when I go to sleep at night, I feel so happy just looking at the way in which they are asking questions, the way in which they are thinking, the way they are telling their stories. And I say, my God, this is the India that you want. An India which is heterogeneous, an India which is together, an India which says that, we will help one another. Don't worry. So I think the story has a larger purpose. And the books that I choose need to be that. And that is why I think, Piyush, when I go back to our ethics, sometimes I wonder, क्या हमारा ethics हम देना है बच्चों को? Because you see, the epic is written for a time. The Mahabharata and the Ramayana were written for a time. And you may not want to take this into your discussion at all, but I really feel that when I look at, all the books which are coming out with the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, and, it comes up with war, it comes up with violence, it comes up with cheating. And that is what is put in front. Krishna, when he is sleeping over there, Duryodhana comes and stands at his head, and, Arjuna comes and sits at his feet, and he opens his eyes and he sees Arjuna. And he says, Arjuna, I'll give you any help. And he says, oh, Duryodhana, I'm so sorry. I couldn't help you because you were standing behind me. But that was not. We are finding that Krishna was a very good person at choosing which side he wanted to be on. Okay. So I don't want children to grow up in this. That's why I use the word matlabi right in the beginning. Because many of our stories have that ulterior motive that I want this and so I will do this. This book for my child and not a story book because the child will be able to go and do a quiz better. Supposing I were not doing that and I were looking at just the child and I was looking at my country, I'm truly, we the people who wrote the Constitution, we are really a citizen and we really love, and I love India. And if we love India, then I think a story becomes a powerful imagination tickler. It will make children feel, मुझे भी ये चीज कर सकती है. I can do this. I can make this. I can dream this. And that is what the parent must be looking for when they are choosing a book and not anything else.
When I hear you, there is so much depth and insights into your words and how beautifully you have shared with us how to select the right stories for our kids. And there were few points like stories or the books should actually bring my kids' imagination out into this world. Rather, it should not break my biases into my kid's mind. Or sometimes there are the biases of writers also, which comes into the books and get translated into the kid's mind. It should not be the case. So while selecting the books, imagination is coming out, there is so open thinking space is there for the kid. So it is like a very exhaustive and beautiful list. Like, what are the factors one should look while selecting the story?
Lovely. Great. I'm so happy that I made sense to you.
From where parents could select those authentic storybooks, or parents can take their kids to the authentic spaces where these storybooks are available, which kids can select, which are unbiased and feeding directly into the imagination of the kids.
Publishers are not doing justice. And my generation has really failed our country. Okay. We, I think, have many publishers who are publishing conscientiously. Okay. We are publishing. And for instance, in Katha, we have a threefold bottom line that we look at. First is a social bottom line. We say that the book has to bring change in the thinking of the child towards a more heterogeneous, a more inclusive, a more non-discriminatory world that we want to live in. So this is our bottom line, a social change where the stereotype can be changed. And I started Katha in 1988 with this as one of the main things that you want. Many people have different bottom lines. Okay. The second bottom line is we have a green bottom line. We plant trees for, the number of trees we cut to make our books. Because we cut a lot of trees and that's horrible. So anyway, we plant trees. The third is the financial bottom line that we have. You can see that, we don't make money from our books. But our books are there in a lot of libraries. And I was told last time that it was in 8,000 libraries. I don't know. So, but the thing is that, when you are giving books to a library, you are not charging them anything. If they can pay, they take it. So, non-profit libraries are very good places where you can go and find books. And if you are able to buy books for your child, then think about, the books that you have bought, which your child has outgrown, to donate these to a non-profit, which is working in that area. So that, other children can enjoy these books and other children can find these books. Okay. So that is one thing that we have where we are looking at where can we find these books. Okay. So a bookshop, very good place. If you have connection to a huge marketplace like Amazon, yes, Amazon, Flipkart, all these are good places that you can go to. But I think if you can get children to write their own stories and illustrate their own stories, and we grow their knowledge, we take them from one step to another step. And here, Piyush, I want to say that, we work in rural Tamil Nadu and we work on the other side of what's called the Pulikat Lake. So Sriharikota is on one side and our villages are on the other side. Okay. So they are all fishing villages. They are all, irregular and, oppressed communities that we work with. All of them are oppressed communities. So when Chandrayaan went up, the children shared that same sky. So when they looked up, they could see the rocket going. Okay, so we got all the children to come out and, they all looked at the rocket and they said, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want. So the very next week, we changed the curriculum for them. And the curriculum was called 3 to 1 and Off I Go. It was a whole exploration of our Earth from the point of view of space. It was, if you want to go into space, if you want to become an astronaut and you want to be an explorer of space, what should you do? So we said, okay. So we said that, we made up a story and then now the children have written the story. That's going to become the curriculum for our for our children next year. Okay. So let's say they wrote the story, 24, 25, they wrote the story and next year is going to become their thing. And when you do things like that, where the children write their own stories, they become very good at it. So, for instance, now they are doing one story called Kokilavin Arputa Pane. So that story is about, a pot. But the children have changed everything in that thing. They have taken their own lives. They've taken the potters that are there in their localities, in their rural spaces, and how they are making a pot and how that pot becomes a wonderful pot. So you see what happens is a story which can take very many forms and, it can transmute very nicely. So when a child takes a story and says it and owns that story, then magic starts happening. Okay. So if you're working in areas where you can buy stories, then choosing the book, read the story before you buy the story. Look at the illustrations. Look at what is behind the illustrations. Many times I've noticed, the front of the illustration is, the focus point for illustrator. But uske piche kya hai? When I look at that, you might find that, there is maybe a glass of milk with a fly hovering around it. Now, you don't want that as a message. Even a lateral message that's going to a child. हमें वो background को हमें देखना है when I'm looking at. So, you have to be very careful because books are expensive. And when I'm buying a book, I need to be very careful. कौन सा किताब मुझे चाहिए, कौन सा कहानी मुझे चाहिए, not even किताब, कौन सा कहानी मुझे चाहिए. So I'm saying, okay, is this a flat story? When the child starts at point A and finishes at point A? Or is there a challenge and the child is going with the protagonist? There is a challenge and the challenge is sort of giving questions in the minds of the child. And the child is saying, ये क्यों हो रहा है, कैसा हो रहा है, क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. And then, there is this little dip over there when there is despair, when we are saying, pata nahi wo kya karna hai, kaisa karna hai. And then the child learns and then the child goes from this level to this level. Because you must remember that, a child has only 30 weeks in every classroom. From first standard or first class, I have 30 weeks to learn everything and go to standard 2 or class 2. When I look at 30 weeks in the life of a child, it goes like that. But they are learning. So what they are reading at home becomes very, very important. So I would say that, you need to leave the schooling to the school and keep the learning at the home. And that is true education. Education is learning and schooling. So when you say a story book, I'm not bothered whether 5 साल के बाद बच्चे वापस आके बोल रहे हैं, no, mama, ये वाला चीज वो किताब में मैंने देखा नहीं. I can understand it now. Good. I am not interested. I'm not going to keep an exam for the child. Okay. Like when the child started walking, did the child learn how to walk because they passed an exam? They didn't know. You didn't have an exam for the child. So why are we saying reading should have an exam? So reading, learning from stories is one thing where it's a learning. No exams, no rules, no thing except that you want एक अच्छा इंसान बनना है. Initially, because what you learn as a child is what will last with you for your lifetime. So the good ideas that you want for your child, that is when the story comes. School में वो जाके वो पढ़ रहे हैं वो career के लिए. They are going there, they are reading for a career, they are planning, they learn how to do, arithmetic, then they learn how to do, algebra, geometry, and okay, that's very important. I'm not saying it's not important. Very important. But what Katha does is, in the classroom, we bring the story in. So that the child is able to take knowledge from the short-term memory to the long-term memory. The long-term memory is what stands us in good stead. Whether it's geometry, whether it's trigonometry, whether it is, social science, whatever it may, whatever is the subject. You have to help the child take it from what I learned today to connect the dots so that it becomes transformed into long-term memory. That happens through the story. So, we influence what is happening. Now we work with governments to tell governments that, okay, when you are choosing books, choose it so that the child takes this journey with a storybook. Don't take the library period because maths mein mera portion मैंने खत्म नहीं किया, so I want to take. No, let's protect that library period for the child. And to parents, let's protect that 10 minutes that you're spending with the child. With nothing else in my mind, just me and my child. That joy, that enjoyment. Then you can turn any book that you're doing into something that will enhance the joy of reading for your child.
It's very inspiring and mesmerizing, and listening to you when to share your insights, knowledge, and experience with Beak right now. Stories, and at the same time, so much.
All of us know, Piyush. I think all of us know. You don't have to teach parents anything at all. Sometimes it's like the dust on a mirror, you wipe the thing and then you can see yourself clearly and you say, I am a storyteller. But beach mein wo dust aata hai nahi? A dust of daily life and the dust of, experiences, challenges. That, yeah.
So, you have just shared that how at Katha, yeah, you guys use story as a tool to transfer the learnings from the short-term memory to the long-term memory. So here the role of a story pedagogy plays a very important role as far as I know to interpret and understand. So could you share a little bit about what is story? Could you share a little bit about what is story pedagogy and how we can leverage that for the students in this chapter?
Story pedagogy is an educational framework. So I don't think I can say it in a few minutes. But let me try to see if we can. I may not be saying anything that surprises you, but maybe something surprises you. The fact is that, the story can teach maths and science and geography and history. The story can link all these things and make it into a single knowledge, which can then transcend the short-term memory. Okay. So, for instance, in our normal classroom, what happens is, I'm in, if you have a tiled mosaic floor, then, I'm in this tile over here, and then the bell rings and I go into another tile. So, I'm in this maths class, which is one tile, the bell rings and I go into my social sciences class. Now, the child forgets the math that she's been learning when she's going into the social science class. Okay. The bell is the one which signifies that, okay, I forget this and I'm moving to that. Now, what we are doing in story pedagogy is we have a story for the whole school. So, when you say that you go from preschool to high school, we are saying that if there is the same story, then every child who understands is able to help another child who doesn't understand. So, the big idea that is there is able to transcend the boundary of, whether it's a maths class or a science class. It becomes knowledge. It becomes Purna Siksha. I use the word Purna Siksha quite often. Okay. So when you're looking at this holistic knowledge, then joining the dots for the child becomes very, very easy. So that's one thing that we do very nicely. The thing is, when I look at, and this story pedagogy has its basis also in the Natya Shastra. I started learning Bharatanatyam when I was, I think, 6 years old or something like that. And, I got the Sangeet Natak Academy fellowship and I've performed all over the place. I've given a lot of performances and things like that. But what has remained with me is the Bharatanatyam Shastra and the core learnings of that. And I see Bharatanatyam Shastra as a treatise on communication, not just of dance. Okay, it's not just of Sanskrit theatre. It is a communication tool. So when I look at it as a communication tool, there are a few things that, Bharata says. Whether it's also single person, many people, man, woman, we don't know any of these things. But we know that it's 2000 years old. The written treatise, no other country has a written treatise like we have, which is the Bharatanatyam Shastra. Okay. So when you read it, there are a few principles that come in front of you. And these are embedded in story pedagogy. Again, what happens is I can't explain it because that will need, 3-4 hours and you have to understand it and everything. But it comes from, story pedagogy comes from three sources. Okay. It comes from story pedagogy. It comes from the Bharatanatyam Shastra. It comes from my understanding of poverty, understanding of children in poverty and how can we bring them out of poverty. So we have a very good structure which goes from philosophy to content to classroom practices to continuous assessment. We take this and we use it to educate, train our teachers and our communities. So it becomes a holistic thing. The child is learning something in the school and learning something in the community, and they both merge for the child. So it goes from short term to long term. Okay. So this trajectory that we have from philosophy to development of material to classroom practices to assessment, continuous assessment, is the journey which every teacher and reading mentor in Katha takes. And we help them to do it. And today we are working with a lot of partners, and this is what we are working with them on. We have about 250, 350 partners with us. We're all small non-profits. And we are saying, how can we help them? It's not, there's no cost involved, no paisa cost involved in it. They have to spend time, they have to learn, but there's no money cost involved in it. But of course, it's online. So they have to have a connectivity and things like that. But the story pedagogy, because it has a very structured and it has a rubric for assessment, it's called the Ruchi rubric. Because, when I work with teachers come and say, Didi, इनके लिए रुचि नहीं है, पढ़ने में रुचि नहीं है. I said, रुचि का मतलब क्या है? Ruchi is when I can recognize whether it's an emotion, whether I'm going too much into it, I'm wasting your time actually.
No, man. I'm learning, and I think it's a very important point. Is learning very knowledge.
So, Ruchi is when I'm recognizing what I am looking at. We link it up with reading the world. Before the child starts reading a book, the child has to know how to read the world. Okay. So, we teach the child how to read the world using the 5 senses. What all she experiences. So, what does she touch and what does she experience from that? What does she see? What does she taste? So, what are the different tastes that she can get to? And then from that, other stories coming, what can she hear? When she closes her eyes, what can she hear? Can she hear some other sound? And it leads to a lot of experiences. We even find out if a child is able to hear properly, see properly. It goes into that also because we are looking at a holistic experience. This comes from the Katha holistic early learning. We call it KHEL. Katha holistic early learning. Okay. And the whole thing is KHEL, and our teacher training is called KHELTE. So it's all play. Just keep playing. Okay. So this is at the basis of story pedagogy. Okay. So when we say that, the child learns to recognize, learns to use, maybe, in speaking, in storytelling, in maybe, the child knows how to write, but maybe the child knows how to read, maybe the child knows how to storytell. So what we've done is here in the use, we have introduced one thing. This happened in the 1990s. Okay. So NCERT says LSRW. You must know that. Okay. Listen, speak, read and write. Now from the 90s in Katha, we say LSSRW. Storytell. It's in the center. Because when a child learns how to tell a story, what is the meaning behind the story, that becomes very clear to the child. Because the child has to understand it to be able to tell the story. The child has to have the sequence in mind before telling the story. So all these things which, can be taught in a classroom as a strategy, reading strategy, comes naturally to the child when they are doing these things. Okay. So use becomes a very important thing where the LSSRW. So the S in the center, I write a big S in the center when I'm writing LSSRW. Storytelling is the one which links the listen, speak with the read and write. That becomes the operative word for Katha in story pedagogy. That happens, the chi part of it comes in. which is comprehend holistically and intuitively. So when I'm reading, all of us do that. Yesterday I was reading something and I didn't understand the word. Okay, I look at the context over there, I look at the page and I say, ho sakta hai, this is the meaning for it. Okay. That is coming from my intuitive space. Intuitively, I'm thinking that this is the thing. Holistic is when I've read a whole of physics, I'm doing my physics thing and I come across this word photosynthesis in another space. Say it's coming in my math space, photosynthesis. I know that holistically, I have learned it in some other place. I told you about joining the dots and moving from one thing to another. So when I'm moving into that other place and then I'm told about, shadows and I know shadows I've learned in my story about a shadow. But when I go into my geometry, I know about the shadow because how does the shadow think? How can I measure the shadow to know the height of the building? So the shadow is what connects up that knowledge. Okay. Now, because it's coming from a story, the chi comes in and, we are saying that you comprehend holistically and intuitively. So a child knows the word tomato, for instance. So she's reading that word in the classroom and she knows. When she's walking the street and she's going with the parents and they're seeing a place where they are serving soup and they walk in there, she's able to say, this is tomato soup. I want tomato soup. Okay, how does she say that? Because she's read it in the school. So it's a holistic, intuitive thing that is coming. So when you say ruchi, unless the child is able to recognize, use, and comprehend holistically and intuitively, and that happens intuitively. Has to be an intuitive grammar. It has to be an intuitive understanding of story, of language. When that happens, magic happens. Okay, and this is what we train our people, our teachers in, and our children to read. So these are the strategies that we use when we talk about reading. You have reading strategies and we use reading strategies which are part of story pedagogy. So we use the story for an internal understanding of the story. We use the story to come up with, these strategies that the child can use in the long term to be a lifelong learner. Okay. And we use the story as a thing which creates imagination, a sense of wonder, a sense of challenge, a sense of saying, why I get outraged by a story. In real life, I cannot be. Okay. But I come into that space of looking at another and saying, that child is going through this and this is not right. It's not me going through it. Okay. It's part of Greek storytelling that they have. So basically, it's a coming together of all these things. And of course, I've been a writer for ages. I think I first wrote my story when I was in school, I think, and I've been a writer from then. So the art and craft of a storyteller. So it is my, the Natya Shastra. I wanted to do my PhD in Natya Shastra at one time. Okay. And but then I had 2 children, so I didn't have somebody who can. My mother was busy, my mother-in-law was busy, and so I could not take the time to go and do my PhD. But I've done a lot of deep reading in the Natya Shastra. So it's the Natya Shastra. It is poverty and the geography of poverty. I call it the geography of poverty that we have in our country. So that, and the third thing is my own skills as a storyteller and as a story writer. Because a writer has to be a storyteller. So all these things have gone together to form the story pedagogy that we use in Katha.
When we use our intuitiveness and how the intuitiveness is translated into learning, knowledge, and everything, completely 100% resonate with it. And the reason why I resonate with it is because in 2019-20, we opened one preschool in Rajpur called Shadabur Dairy. And there we were using a play pedagogy and they were early kids. And every day we are just engaging them into some kind of activity and play, and they don't even know if some learning is happening or it is just a play, what kind of school it is, where we are not making study, sit and do this or do that, but they're free to explore and experience the campus, small campus which we created, catering to the five senses, and we did it for a year. And when at the end of the year, we are seeing like how it translated into the learning outcomes, and we were like surprised. So that was our vision. People that the students should not be aware that they are studying or they are learning, but they should be focused on playing, and it will automatically translate into some learning outcomes. And they were there. And the kids, as per their age, what is it? That's right, their NCRT and so now you use the word storytelling. Right now you are a storyteller and you are a story writer too. So I just want to understand, if parents wants to build the skill of being a storyteller, how can they do that? And not just even parents. And if children wants to be a storyteller, how can they actually be build that skill in themselves? If you could share some light on that.
See, storytelling happens at different levels. Okay. So you have a natural storyteller who tells a natural story, and that's very, very good. Now, many natural storytellers, because Natya Shastra is in our DNA. We all, whether we learned classical dancing, Kathak or Kathakali, or Bharatanatyam, or Chow, whatever it may be, we, even if you didn't learn it, you have that we have that in our genes. So many of us in India, we use our hands and we use our body to speak. Okay. So we use a mudra, we use our hands to signify who's coming here. I do this very naturally. I say who. And the hand shows what I am asking. Okay. So that is one very natural way in which parents can do. They don't have to feel hesitant. They don't have to feel like they have to go and learn somewhere. No, not at all. I think they can do it. As they do it, they will learn themselves how they can do it a little better. From seeing their child and seeing how the child is interacting with the story and with the telling, they will themselves learn. So I don't think that, we should say that, there has to be a special craft for telling the story and you have to go and learn it. You have to get a certificate on telling a story. No, that's not needed. But sometimes, because of, life itself, and we are also busy and we're doing this and we're doing that. And some parents do come and tell me, Pata nahi, but we cannot tell a story properly. I don't have any stories in my mind. And then I think it is going back to your childhood, because, you've got to have fodder. You have to have, content to tell a story. That content comes from the parents' childhood itself. Okay. So there is the external thing of, what I was saying about, Abhinaya, for instance, when I'm talking, when I'm using my hands, my face, my eyes, when I'm talking. So that is one. That's the external way of capturing the attention of the child. The internal is, what story am I telling to them? When that comes from my experience, my mother's experience, my grandparents' experience, then it is endowed with that interest, with that sense of curiosity. Papa ne kya kiya? Kya kiya? Okay. So I'm making up a story. It may not be a real story. I remember an uncle of mine used to tell, he told me a story when I was maybe 5 or 6. I'm suddenly remembering it now. He said he went into the forest in a jeep, and when he was a forest ranger, and he went into the forest in a jeep, and a big came, and there were 4 of them. They all got down, they lifted the jeep, they turned it around, and they drove away. That colored my imagination for such a long time. It took me a long time to say, 4 people carried a jeep and they turned it around and then they ran away from an elephant which is charging away. Come on, yeah, this is, not possible. But the thing is, when you're a child, a story like this, which happened to your grandfather, and, so adventure, mystery, these things, excite a child. So when I make a story into that kind of a thing, humor excites a child. So you can, actually tickle a child and say, I'm tickling you, but you can tell a story which makes them laugh. Okay. So these are all some of the tools that we use when, as a storyteller. It's not just the external. It's not just my vak abhinaya, what I use my voice for, but it is the content. And that context can come from my family. It can come from my grandparents. It can come from my parents. So I would say, talk to your parents and say, आपका बचपन में आपने क्या सुना? What will you tell me? What is the story that you remember most? And then telling it in a present context to my child. That will be
Thank you for sharing these like small, crisp steps to be a storyteller or as a starter steps or being a storyteller where you're choosing a content, connecting with a family life, and then moving on. And it's really not a special craft which you need train on, like practice and the right content and right direction. Absolute. And have like one last question I want to ask. I hope you have a time.
Oh, I sometimes ramble, Piyush. I'm sorry. So I've taken a lot of time. I have another meeting and I have to have my lunch before I go for my another meeting.
One last question. That's it. I'll just take few more minutes of yours. So, in this world of screens, when parents and children both are hooked to the smartphones, how can we actually bring today's kids from the phones into the world of stories? Any suggestions or tips?
It's the story, the smartphone. Make a story and record it in your voice. Tell the child that they can record the story in their voice and they can listen to it. Your child has to be involved. See, you must understand. I mean, all of us must understand that, the child has a vivid imagination. The child lives in her own world. And if you can create that world inside the smartphone, it's not a matter of how I read or what. There has to be a why I read and what I read. Okay. So if that can be the child's knowledge, the child's story, the child's storytelling, which is embedded into the phone. And today, you can do anything on the mobile phone. Okay. So if the parent does that, they record the child. The child says, ye mera awaaz hai, ye mera awaaz hai. Haan, it is your voice. Okay. And that's the story. Can we build on that story? So I play to the strengths of the child. And I will see that, reading is not just reading a book. Reading is reading. Reading is wonder. Reading is growing your imagination. Growing is growing your curiosity and your sense of critical thinking. Look at, what does it want to achieve? The tool that you're using, whether it is a printed book, whether it is, a thing, whether it's your own story that you put into your phone, doesn't matter. Fact is, the child is learning to say that, okay, CAT is cat. That's what you want. And that can happen if you are intelligent and smart.
Yes, being joyful with a kid. Alicia could happen with absolutely the power of stories. Thank you, Lyle, for your time talking to share your experience, insights, tips with us. And put it helps lot of peers, children, educators. Yes, once they
And so, Piyush, you're not going to come back again. Ye wala khatam ho gaya abhi. I may not say the same things again.
correct, agreed.